Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I'm really excited to be able to bring you guys a first look at the 2nd New Zealand Division, which is a new division available in the 3rd Nemesis DLC, Battle for Rimini. If you'd like to read the description on the right hand side, feel free to pause the video and take a look, but I'm of course going to be jumping straight on in. As usual, I'll be going through all of the units available and then we'll put together a quick deck. Now, just a note that just like the last Nemesis DLC, I kind of saved myself from looking at the divisions early so that I could bring you these first look videos and really give you like my instant reaction to them. So this is just as exciting for me as it probably is for you guys. But let's go ahead and start in the Recon tab. Okay, so first of all, up we have the Recon squads. These guys are looking absolutely awesome. I love these hats. Do they all have awesome hats? It looks like it. That's cool. I like the models. They look awesome. But coming in a universal carrier here, your standard 2-man Recon squads. They can also come in with a 2-inch mortar carrier. They can bring in with the links. That's cool. Good to see the links. And it's also manned as well. Very nice. And then we have the Willys MMG. Do these all have the right models on them? That's really cool. Some really good detailing there. Again, yeah, the different models being inserted in the vehicles with the new camos as well on those. Very cool indeed. Shame that doesn't have a gunner. But yeah, overall, very impressed with these other transports. I'm not sure what you'd really decide to bring these in. I'd like to use the links, honestly. It looks cool. I think it does have some armor as well, so a nice 5-point recon vehicle. Alright, next up we have the 50 cal universal carrier. That's pretty awesome, actually. 20 points for a 50 cal and a 30 cal. I like it. Then we have the Eleftheros Skopeftis. These are Greek troops, I believe. These are a sniper squad. They have a grease gun and Lee Enfield sniper rifle. Probably absolutely butchered the name, so my apology. But yeah, just a standard sniper squad. Can they come in anything special? They can use the universal carrier. Alright, next up is the Maori Scouts. Very cool. A 4-man recon squad with submachine guns. They can be brought in the links as well. I like that a lot, actually. That does actually make these scouts quite valuable. And the fact that they have 4 submachine guns means they can do a decent chunk of damage at close range. And I'm pretty sure the Thompson has almost the highest DPS at close range, so that's pretty damn good. The M3 Scout's always been a bit overpriced. Right, next up, the Anich Niftis. These guys are a 6-man squad, recon, with radios. Also, this sniper has radio. That's something to note. And those snipers have radios as well, but both the Greek units have radios here, whilst the New Zealand units do not. That's interesting. So, 2 grease guns, 3 Lee Enfields, and a Bren. I'm not a fan of the loadout, honestly. I feel like it's gonna get them spotted at a distance. Obviously you can put them on return fire, and I expect honestly to do that quite often if I were to be using this unit in particular. So you can get 5 in phase A, 10 in phase B, and 15 in phase C. What about the other ones? I didn't really check the availability. Maori Scouts, you can actually get 5 in phase A of those. That's quite nice. Only 4 of the Recce. So yeah, no reason really not to bring in the Maori Scouts. Scouts of Pia, very nice. One thing that's really nice about Scouts of Pia is they can often make up for lack of infantry AT. So if you bring them on the field alongside your infantry squads, they can be your sort of sole AT squads, and it means you don't have to bring like Piat squads in the anti-tank, which can often be a bit of a waste of activation points, I guess. However, the value of a recon has gone up over the last few patches, so recon infantry in particular is something you're going to want to have a bit more of these days so that you can actually spot things you're up against. But that's 2 Thompsons, 2 Lee Enfields, transports, same as the others. Nothing else special there. And then there's also the Staghound, and oh, that looks beautiful. Bit of a Borderlands texturing going on there, but otherwise, I really, really like it. Pukeko. Nice. Alright. And you can get 4 of these, or 5 of these in Phase A. Damn, that's actually quite a lot. And then 9 in Phase B, and 18 in Phase C. Blimey, that's a lot of Staghounds. I think this is something that could probably be brought out a lot in a 1v1 scenario, maybe. Alright, let's move on to the Infantry tab. There's going to be a lot of stuff in the Infantry tab that we haven't seen before, because there's a lot of like unique New Zealand and Greek units here, I believe. First of all, we have Field Engineers, which look pretty standard, honestly. You get 9 of them in Phase A, 18 in Phase B. They're 5-man squad, sorry, with the satchels. So they can blow up enemy infantry squads at close range, won't really do much else, they're very weak at longer ranges. Then there's the Achiomatikos, something like that. They have 2-man, grease guns, smoke grenades, get 4 in Phase A, 8 in Phase B. Any transports? Nothing special there. I didn't really look at the New Zealand transport. It looks like Willys and Bedford trucks. So yeah, that's going to be your standard leader. Again, they have radios, whilst the New Zealand units do not. Actually, the Diggers leader does have radios as well. Alright, Diggers. So these are your sort of line infantry, I guess. In Phase A, you can get 8 of them. It's like a similar availability to rifles squads. They are set up very similar with the 7 Lee Enfields and the Bren, but they have 2 Thompson submachine guns for close range combat, which makes them a little bit better at close range, actually, than the British counterparts. So there we go, some Diggers there. Reasonably priced. Then we have the motorized rifles, standard setup with the Piat, Bren, 5 Lee Enfields, 2 Thompson submachine guns. No crazy transports or anything. Pretty standard squad. Diggers with the Piat, set up very, well, basically exactly the same as the British counterparts, with the 8 Lee Enfields, 2 Brens, and the Piat. Again, standard Bedford trucks. You can get 6 of these in Phase A, 12 in B, and 18 in C. So the availability is also the same across the board by the looks of things. Then there's the Diggers leader. This thing has Piat there, and you can bring them in Phase A, get 3 in Phase A, 6 in B, and 9 in C. So you actually get more of the Greek leaders in A and B, which might make them something to consider. But these, of course, have the Piat, which is quite nice, and they only cost 5 points more. There's the Engineer leader. Engineer leader might be quite nice because it can kind of defend itself at close range, but only has 1. Actually, never mind. It has 4 satchels. That's actually quite a lot. Yeah, this could be relatively decent at defending itself off against like line infantry, like grenadiers, panzergrens, anything that doesn't excel at close range so much. So, you know, if you came up against Stern Pioneers, like any form of flamethrower or Molotov, then the Engineer leader is probably going to lose quite quickly. But against units that don't have those kinds of weapons, and it has the satchel itself, it can kind of defend itself when it gets caught out, which is something that I've quite liked about units that have strong HE capability. You can only bring these in Phase A, so that would be the time to use them. Then we have the Catadromis MX. These are 8-man squads. Get 5 in Phase A. You can only bring them in Phase A. If you upvet them to 2 sub-veterancy, they actually come in. You only lose 1 availability, so that's quite nice. You get 4 grease gun submachine guns, 3 Lee Enfields, and a flamethrower with smoke grenades. This could be an interesting unit to try. Although, looking at the infantry tab in general, the amount of cards you have available is actually quite limited. So bringing in a card that's only going to give you 4 men seems unlikely. I don't know. Let's see what else we got. Motorized rifle leader. Pretty standard stuff. 3 Thompson submachine guns and a Bren with smoke grenades. I actually quite like that setup. Just because the Thompson and the Bren can both move and shoot, so in close combat they can kind of do some damage as they're trying to run away and lay some smoke. Kind of keep themselves alive. Quite a lot of utility there. And then we got some big old 12 strength Greek squads. The Oplites. Or the Oplites? Oplites? I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. Like hoplites, but Oplites? Forgot the H. I don't know. 2 grease guns, 8 Lee Enfields, 2 Brens. This is a pretty beefy squad. How many can you get in Phase A? So you can get the same amount in Phase A as you can your standard diggers. I'm not really sure why you'd take diggers over these. I mean, I guess the diggers with Piat are more or less the same setup, but you get more of the Greek units. Obviously, the Greek units are going to be better at close range as well. They kind of have that versatility, but lack the AT. So if you can make up for the AT in other ways, you probably want to pick the Greek troops, I think. Alright, then we have the Maoris. The Maoris here. Ooh, 2 MG34s. Isn't that tasty? But the setup with the 4 SMGs and the 4 Lee Enfields kind of makes this an odd squad, because whilst they can engage well at range with the 2 MG34s, they're still going to get outmatched by things like Grenadiers and Panzergrens. Maybe not Grenadiers, but definitely Panzergrens, because Panzergrens have more Kar 98s. So they're going to be putting down more DPS at range. The submachine guns will be nice for close range, though. They will outmatch, probably, Panzergrens at close range. So it's kind of an interesting one. The other thing that you got to note about the Maoris, of course, is they are fanatical. So, pretty beefy squad. 10-man fanatical squad. Probably a decent matchup against the SS Panzer Grenadiers, actually. At closer ranges, at least. You could probably do quite well with these. That makes me wonder, are the Maori scouts also fanatical? They are. They are indeed. Okay, so that is pretty much all of the infantry covered. Let's jump into the tank tab. First of all, the Stuarts. Just going to be some like New Zealand armor here. Lovely camo again. Really like the new camos on these units. You can get up to 8 of these in Phase A. And then there's 6 cards of Shermans. 65-point Shermans. They're pretty standard with New Zealand markings, though, of course, which look very cool. And then the Sherman 3 command as well. And the command does have a radio. 2 of those available in Phase A, 4 in Phase B. Nothing special particularly in this tab, nothing we haven't seen before. But again, the attention to detail actually on these camos is really nice. Okay, let's jump into the support tab. So there is 2-inch mortars, both New Zealand and Greek mortars. Can you get them all in the same phase as you can? It looks like there's actually less Greek mortars available in general. So the New Zealand mortars, you get 4 cards of them available, and you can get up to 18 in Phase C, whereas you can only get 2 cards of Greek ones, and they only go up to 15 in Phase C. So this is probably a decision that you'd make based on how patriotic you are, if you're from New Zealand or if you're from Greece. Otherwise, don't pick either. Because HMGs, same deal. Greek ones, New Zealand ones, more availability on the New Zealand Vickers. So you might as well bring the New Zealand Vickers. Something that I didn't look at was Greek transports. I'm just curious if there's anything special here. Oh, nice. These Vickers HMGs can come in with the carrier 30 cal. Now this carrier 30 cal only costs 5 points and has 2 30 cal machine guns. That's pretty damn good, especially with a buff to machine guns in general. Like 30 cals are better than they were, so that's really awesome. I like that a lot. That's a nice combination. 25 points for an armored machine gun carrier and a machine gun. That's pretty damn potent. Alright, the Staghound Mark II. This comes with HE shells. It's just a HE Look at this. I've never seen a staghound like this before. That's cool. Very cool. Alright, you've only got one card of these available. You can bring them phase A, B, or C. 5, 10, and 15. Of course, your availability always lowers if you increase the veterancy. But in this case, probably worth looking at. You only lose one by upvetting to 1-star veterancy. Interesting. These could be super good. I'm really expecting to see these a lot in like pro play. These combined with the Staghound Mark 1, Staghound Mark 1, Staghound Mark 2, the fact that they're really fast and they have the ability to snipe transports as the Mark 1s, but also the Mark 2s are great for taking out support weapons. It's like both of the things you need to have like a really fast early game, and that's perfect for 1v1s. As for this one, we got a New Zealand MG42 squad. Get 5 of these in phase A. Oh, this is even more scary. Okay, so these can also be brought in that carry 30 cows. That's an MG42 that's brought in an armoured vehicle with 2 30 cows on it. Damn. Don't tell me the 50 cal can be as well. It can. And the 50 cal arguably is worse than the MG42, so I'd probably just go for the MG42 for the most part, but 50 cal, the fact that again it can come in these half tracks is just so damn nice. Okay, let's have a look at this Sherman. This is a Sherman 1B. It is a Sherman with the 105mm gun, but does it have a bit of extra frontal armor? It does. 110mm of frontal armor, which is actually pretty chunky. It's going to make it great for taking out enemy AT guns at distance. So that's actually a pretty damn nice vehicle. 2, 4, and 8 is the availability. And then there's the 4-man Greek commander, the Dikitis. Probably again butchering these names. But 4 grease guns there will keep itself hidden quite nicely. You can also get the Dingo and the Sherman. Now, I think personally I'd either take the Recon or the Infantry squad, sorry, or the Sherman. I guess the Dingo's actually quite nice because it is armoured as well. It does have strong top armour, so it will survive against enemy artillery. It's also quite small, so it means it won't get affected by blasts so much. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Nice sort of choice you've got there between the Greek infantry and then the New Zealand units there. The Sherman 3 might just be a little bit too costly, honestly, as a commander. Right, infantry in the anti-tank. We've got Piat squads. No surprise there. You can get 6 of these in phase A. I'm not sure you'd want to take Piat in the anti-tank squad, in the anti-tank tab, sorry, because of the potential for scouts of Piat in the Recon tab. But they are 15 points. They can be brought in with the 50 or the 230 cal vehicles. The only issue with using these carriers, these universal carriers, they're a lot slower on roads. So at the start of the game, you're probably not going to see them too much. But as the game goes on, we will see them more often. 6-pounders are available, both Greek 6-pounders and Soviet 6-pounders. Now the Soviet 6-pounders can be brought in Lloyd carriers and Bedfords, whilst the Greek ones can only be brought in Bedfords. Now likely you'd use the Bedford anyway, because whilst the Lloyd carrier, it does have armour, the Bedford has that extra little bit of speed on road. Yeah, I guess the fact that it goes 45 km/h off-road is actually kind of nice for an AT gun, because they're often placed in out-of-the-way areas, not necessarily directly on roads. So that could be nice, but yeah, again, availability is just way higher for the New Zealand units. I probably they did this for, I guess, historical accuracy, maybe, but I kind of feel like it always pushes you towards using the New Zealand units, which is a bit disappointing for me, I think. But they do have the Raider trait, so maybe that warrants them having a little less availability. Is that the same case for these ones? Yeah, this Vickers HMG, for example, has a Raider trait. The Raider trait, I don't really value the Raider trait very highly. Basically, This unit doesn't suffer a suppression malus when behind enemy lines. That's what the raider trait does. All raider traits units also have the 50% extra stealth bonus. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that was something they changed more recently. Okay. Yeah, these are raiders as well, so they actually have very good stealth. Damn. Yeah, we can't miss that. Can't miss that. Yeah, so this Vickers HMG has exceptional stealth. Can it come with the vehicle? No, it can't. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, these also have the rated trait as well. So exceptional stealth mortars as well. So they're just fantastic at ambushing. So this raider trait anti-tank gun could be actually kind of ridiculous, because without recon, this is going to be really hard to spot. Like, really hard to spot. Okay, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Alright, okay. They made it better. That's understandable. Alright. Wolverines are available. New Zealand Wolverines. Get 3 of these in Phase A, 6 in Phase B. I've always preferred Wolverines upvetted, just because the 45% base accuracy, and you put them over 50% accuracy, which gives you a slightly higher than, like, slightly higher than 50% chance to hit your first shot every time. So it's kind of nice. A little bit of extra rate of fire there, never hurt anyone. And there is, of course, the 17-pounders available. These can be brought in with the Morris C8. This truck just reminds me of Postscriptum. It's like the only game other than this one now that I've seen this vehicle in before. So, yeah, there we go. The Morris C8. And how fast is that thing? 60 kilometers per hour. It's actually kind of the same speed as the Bedford, so I'd probably just bring it in just because. Yeah, 17-pounders, pretty standard stuff otherwise. The Morris C8 with the Beretta 20mm on it. Kind of cool. Get 4 of those in Phase A, 45 points a pop. No armor though. Does make that a risky choice, especially considering they'll be able to be taken out by enemy mortars and stuff quite easily. And then we've got the Bofors here. Transports are pretty standard, with the Lloyd carrying the Bedford. Let's go into the artillery tab. We've got the spotters. Spotters here. Well, they can have a lot of different transports. The standard 2-inch carrier, or universal carrier Lynx, Willys MG, the M3 Scout, and the Stuart Recce. Similar to the Recon tab, actually. 3 and 15 available for those. Do have exceptional stealth, do have that Recon as well. Then there's the artillery command units. These artillery command units are actually quite nice because they do have the 8 Leonfields and the 2 Thompson machine guns, so at like the mid to close range they can actually do a reasonable amount of damage. Probably going to use some of these because of the infantry tab not having as many slots. Artillery tab, for the rest of it though, we got 3-inch mortars available, some raider trait mortars, and some standard mortars. So yeah, Greek mortars and New Zealand mortars. In this case, it looks like availability is actually the same. Or they're kind of forced to bring in the Greek ones at a higher veterancy. Okay. And then there's the 4.2-inch New Zealand mortars. And then we've got some Greek 25-pounders and New Zealand 25-pounders. So the Greek ones do have the raider trait again with the exceptional stealth. I'm not sure really how handy that is in an artillery situation. Let's just have a look at availability. It looks like it's almost exactly the same. Yeah, so if you're bringing in 25-pounders, you might as well bring the ones with the raider trait because they cost the same amount. It's pretty much the only difference. And then there is off-map. The Willys OP here, you can see the card is still work in progress as I'm viewing this on the beta build, I guess. And yeah, that's pretty standard 140mm off-map. 140mm off-map is pretty good. It saturates quite well. But I wonder how many strikes this has. It'd be good to kind of have a number on that. If it's 3, then it'd probably be worth bringing. If it's only 2, then probably not. Okay, over to the air. Now, the air force in this tab is something I was looking forward to looking at, just because I really love the models that they do in Steel Division. And like the fact we're going to get like the Beaufighter here, the Baltimore, all this good stuff is just really, really nice. Okay, so let's just get into this. Right, the Spitfire Mark 9C is going to be your first one. This is the Recon variant. It does have the 2 Hispano cannons with the 140 rounds. It does run out of ammo very quickly, so use this in anti-air engagement sparingly. Otherwise, it's just good as Recon with the very good agility there. With the extra veterancy, it's a pretty nifty aircraft for sure. And then we have the Beaufighter. I'm curious how good this is actually going to be both an anti-air role, but also as a strafing ground fighter. It can be used in the close air support role, so we will see that strafing ground targets. It also has a Vickers K gun in the turret, so that could also be relatively decent at taking down aircraft as well. I'm never convinced that like rear gunners are actually that good unless you have a big massive units, but maybe if you brought out like 3 or 4 of these at the same time at a certain point in the game, then you might be able to shoot stuff down with the rear gunners whilst you're kind of trying to engage other units. The only issue with the Beaufighter, of course, is its agility is very bad. It's not the niftiest aircraft in the world. If you don't have any veterancy on it, it's actually got the worst agility, which is quite something. I don't know why that was showing up as off map there. That was kind of crazy. I thought it could bring it off map for a second. Yeah, that would be broken. Okay, 485 km/h speed. Worst agility. I think this has the potential to be a good ground strafing aircraft, but it's going to take some testing for sure. I do have the Baltimore bomber. Very cool. 4 227 kilogram bombs. This is actually a Greek bomber. And 425 km/h speed with medium resilience. Makes it kind of similar to the Blenheim, I think, in terms of how useful it's going to be. But the availability on this is very low. 1 in Phase A, 2 in Phase B, and 4 in Phase C. That is unfortunate. Does it have ground strafing ability? I think it might do. It has 450 cals in the wings. That is interesting. Like, imagine catching someone out and they're like, oh, he's bringing in some bombers, and then you just like head on enemy fighters. It's got 250 cals on the back as well, and 2 Vickers K guns. Where are those Vickers K guns? The turrets, are they in the front, supposedly? And the 50 cals are modelled on the top. There's no guns underneath, as far as I'm aware. Interesting. Well, that's going to be in it. I really kind of want to try it out, so I might just pop it in for the time being. You do get 2 cards of them. There is the Boston Mark III. Really, really like the markings on these and the camos and stuff. Very cool. 8 113 kilogram bombs. You can get up to 7 of those in Phase C. 470 km/h speed with very good resilience, which is much better than the medium resilience. So, and these Bostons, I could see them being used late game. These are actually UK aircraft. They're not piloted by New Zealand forces. I guess they're just British forces. And then we've got, of course, the Greek Air Force in here as well. There is the Kitty Hawk here with a 500 kilogram bomb. You can get 3 of these in Phase A. Damn. They got 650 cals as well. Good agility. These could be scary. Like 650 cals can obviously take down enemy aircraft relatively effectively. That 500 kilogram bomb is going to basically destroy any support weapon it hits, and also potentially can 2-hit tanks. Like if you have 2 of these and you go in for a tank, you might be able to kill it straight away. I really wish this off map would go away. It keeps confusing me. But yeah, the Kitty Hawks here, 3 in A, 4 in B, and then 6 in C, so you'd probably bring them in phase A. There is a Greek Spitfire. Oh, that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. That's just the cannon. Spitfire Mark V C Trop. Got the tropical engine covers or whatever it is. I think that's what it stands for. But yeah, for 20 mils. I wonder how good this is. It does have excellent agility at 590 km/h speed. Interesting indeed. Then there's the Ace variant as well. So Mitralexis, Greek, different camo again. Very cool, very cool. Just love the attention to detail on these aircraft. Alright, next up the P-51C-10, 450 cal, 670 km/h speed. Is pretty damn fast, but I feel like it's gonna lack firepower to kill stuff in one run, and it will often overshoot. It's kind of how I feel when looking at that. Then there is the Beaufighter with rockets available. This comes with 8 150mm rockets, plus all of those machine guns that it can ground strafe with. This could be a beast. But unfortunately, availability is a little low. It's like I've got all these toys that I really want to play with, but the availability is so low on them. And then there's Canadian Spitfires, alright, with 227 kilogram bomb. You only get 2 of these in phase A. Do these go slower? This is a Spitfire Mark 7, Mark 8, sorry. They go about the same speed as the Kitty Hawk, and they have the same stats otherwise. There's no real reason not to bring in the Kitty Hawks since they're cheaper. Yeah, I think the Kitty Hawks would probably be the primary purchase there. But you might also bring these as well. You do get a reasonable availability. And that's about it. In terms of the defenses, nothing too special here, I don't believe. Just expander bunker, Vickers, bunker, trenches, etc. Alright. So there we go. That is everything looked at in this battle group, and it's pretty damn awesome. Let's quickly put together a division. I kind of feel like could be done as a balanced for team games because of the air tab. Things like these Bostons in the late game could probably allow you to have a very good air presence, and the amount of 25-pounders you have available is quite significant as well. But I think optimally this probably suits a Vanguard playstyle due to the Staghounds and the strong infantry. But yeah, we'll build a Vanguard, oh sorry, not Vanguard, a balance for now. Okay, so probably going to use the Maru Scouts here. These do have that fanatical trait, which is kind of nice. Doesn't really make much of a difference on a 4-man squad because they'll just get killed off anyway. But I am going to bring them in with the Lynx. The Lynx is pretty fast. Much faster than the other choices. You can bring in the Willies, but it doesn't have any armor. So I'm going to bring those in with the Lynx. Bring in a card of those. Probably need something else for phase B. I kind of like the fact that the snipers have radios, so I'm going to bring those in phase B. And we probably want the Staghound cards. So I think I'm going to do a card of Staghounds in phase A with no veterancy. Actually, let's upgrade them a little bit. No, we're not going to do that. We lose too many. Maybe we could do that in phase B or C. Phase B, I could maybe get some extra veterancy. Just seems like you lose out on so many of them. I'm going to do that for the Recon tab. That's actually quite a stacked Recon tab for me. But Recon has increased in value a lot. We're definitely going to grab these boys because they are a commando rifle squad. They're very good stealth with the Raider trait. That's really nice. So we'll grab a unit of those in phase A, B, and C probably. Tempted to upvet them a little bit, but you do lose a lot of availability in this kind of setup. I need to choose like a phase A leader squad. It's either going to be between the motorized rifle leader or the 2-man Greek squads. The 2-man Greek squads could be quite nice, but they'll get killed off quite fast. Oh, the other one that I was looking at was the Diggers leader as well, wasn't it? Because of the Piats. I think I'll bring the Digger leader because it does have the Piats there. I could bring them in with the carrier 50 cal or carrier 30 cals. I think we're going to do that as well. So quite an expensive squad in Phase A, but otherwise okay. Let's see, what else could we use? I am tempted to bring in these for like a strong early game close range unit. The other option would be the field engineers. Diggers, I just don't think are going to be really used that much. Maybe because they're cheaper. I kind of want to try out these, so we'll bring in the Greek squad. Probably not going to be enough for Phase A on its own. I'll have to look at something else I can get. 24 of these in Phase C should be fine. Probably going to go to this card, so we can probably take like 2 more cards. I'm probably going to do 1 more card in Phase A and maybe a second card in Phase C, is what I'm thinking. Could do field engineers as well in Phase A. 15-point squads, close range. Could just do another squad of these. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Like, the cost of these, I think, is just a little too high. I guess I haven't tried them. I'll bring a card of these in Phase C and see how we got on. And the Bedford truck is their primary transport, because it is pretty slow. That's looking okay. Diggers with Piat might be necessary, but I do have some... I didn't bring any of the scouts of Piat, did I? Probably going to need some Piat squads. I might do Diggers with Piat in Phase A. I'm not sure if that's going to give me enough infantry, but we shall see when I test it out. Then there's going to be the Shermans. We'll definitely bring in the Shermans with extra veterancy. They are quite generous actually on activation points here. So I think I'm going to do this. I don't know if I want to bring in a command tank. Something like that for now. I might add command in there afterwards. I definitely want to bring in the Stag Hounds. I think the Stag Hounds for Phase A are probably best. Since they use HE, I don't think upbedding them is really necessary. I'm going to bring in the MG42, and I'm also going to do that in the carrier. Actually, no, for those, I'm just going to bring them in normally, I think. Yeah, and then for the Vickers, we'll bring them in with carriers, but we'll do that sort of mid-game. Yeah, that's fine. I need a commander. I think we'll go for the Dingo, just because it's kind of fast. It can move around. If it starts to get artied, we can move it. It does have armor, so it won't die immediately. The other thing that's going to be in here is, of course, supply, but I don't know how much artillery I'm going to take yet. Anti-tank, these AT guns I feel like are just going to be broken, so let's bring in some of these. Yeah, I'm going to just bring those in all phases. Wolverines. Kind of want to bring in the Wolverines, but I don't know if I'm able to just yet. Let's potentially add some of these. No, I think I'm just going to do the Phase A Bofors and Phase B Bofors. That will do. That will be more than enough. Unless I want to upvet them, which I could maybe do. Because we're going to have a lot of aircraft. So this should be enough anti-air. Alright, we definitely want infantry command. So we'll add that in Phase B. Otherwise, I'm thinking we go for 25 pounders. And I could do 25 pounders in A, B, and C maybe. So A, B, and C. That's using up the Bedfords to begin with. I guess it doesn't really make a difference whether or not we bring them in with Bedfords or not. Saying that, it'd be faster for them off-road. You can't even use the Lloyd carriers for the Greek troops. Okay, so 25-pounder in phase A, B, and C. Not sure the mortars are really necessary. Like, you can use the 25-pounders for smoke and HE. So that should be fine. And the off-map is a maybe. We're going to need plenty of supply, though, for these. Saying that, do I need a third card? I feel like I could just get away with 9 25-pounders and then 1 card of fly. Because otherwise, I'm not going to. I don't want to spend 3 points on another card of supply. That seems like a waste. I think we'll just do 1 card of supply. And then 9 25-pounders. I don't tend to use artillery that much anyway, but it could be useful, especially in the early game, to help us get a bit of a foothold. Definitely bringing in the Kitty Hawks in phase A. The Baltimores I do want to try out. So I'm thinking we do like a phase C thing with them. Definitely bring in the Bostons in phase C. The Kitty Hawks can act as fighter bombers in phase A. These do have excellent agility. I do want to try these out. Let's bring them in phase B. The other one is bow fighters. I do want to try the bow fighters. So maybe I drop a card of the Baltimores and we bring in some bow fighters. We can get up to 6 of these in phase B. I think I'll bring them in phase A. I think that'd be nice because then I can use them as strafing aircraft as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Then we have 2 points remaining. So I think that goes into the anti-tank tab. We need 17-pounders, I think. Otherwise we're going to be left high and dry in the late game against heavy armor. This is a very rough deck. I would not recommend this. Should I bring them in the Morris? Yeah, we'll do that. Alright. So, is that enough AT? I could do... Actually, yeah, we'll do this. I'm going to bring those in phase B just in case. We only dropped 2 of them. For the early game, you'd go Shermans, Staghounds, and some of your infantry. You'd probably have to hold back on like the amount of infantry that you use in the early game. But then phase B and C, you've got loads of infantry left. You support it with the bombers in the late game, and then like artillery maybe in the mid game. I feel like the phase B is pretty weak, but it's looking okay. I think that's how I'm going to leave it for now. It's definitely not the best setup, I don't think. But I like the look of it for now. The Shermans and the Staghounds in phase B might be enough with the plenty of AT guns there. These 6-pounders, do they have APCR? Do. So yeah, you should be good enough. Alright, and we'll just go ahead and call that the second New Zealand, and I'm going to call that a wrap. So we'll leave it there. So overall, opinions on the division. I'm very impressed with the attention to detail, both in the uniforms and also the camos for the units. They look wonderful. As for the division setup itself, I think it's going to be a very strong 1v1 division due to the Staghounds and the Sherman combination with some really strong infantry, like the Raider trait on those Greek units, I think is going to be crucial to the success of this division. And then just a really nice plethora of aircraft to choose from is just really nice. And again, the camos on those aircraft just are amazing. So yeah, in general, I am very impressed with this division. I think it's very cool. I think it will suffer in team games for sure. It won't be a popular pick in team games. And, well, not after the DLC comes out, at least. And it's going to be more of like a niche pick. Maybe it could be good as like a Maverick or a Vanguard, even in team games. It might still be good as that. So maybe I'll change it to that at some point, but for now, I think it will do well in team games with the bombers at least. And it will be able to support other more armored divisions in team games. There is that. But yeah, very cool. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this look at the 2nd New Zealand Division. I know this has been quite a long video, but there was a lot to look at, and yeah, very excited to give this a go. That's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.